Yeah, I mean, I think, she was deeply in love with him. I mean, she met him when she was 13. She thought he was the one from that moment. I think he was, slightly more ambivalent. I mean, he didn't really want to become a royal. He had his career in the Navy. He also fell for her to a certain extent, and that was very much promoted by Mountbatten and King George VI. I mean, there's documentary evidence of them being pushed together. I think it was a love affair. I think that Philip did have a bit of a roving eye, and I think he kind of thought that he could have the best of both worlds. And so it became a slightly more open marriage in the way that Mountbatten had an open marriage, and indeed quite a lot of royals and aristocrats do. Uh, I'm more skeptical of whether she had affairs. I mean, there are, again, people whose opinions I respect suggest that she had a fling with Lord Porchester when they were off buying horses in Kentucky. But I mean, the Crown hints at this, the fact that he was, there were tensions in the marriage because of his womanizing. There have been lots of stories about the Thursday Club over the years. I think the fact that Penny Mountbatten, with whom, as you say, he had been living at Wood Farm for many years, was at one of the few mourners at the funeral, I think says it all. But, for example, I am in fact doing a book on Prince Philip now, and I had lunch with a friend the other day. And when he heard I was doing it, he said, well, my mother was a fashion model in the 60s, and she used to be invited to private parties where they would do a fashion show, and then there was an expectation that, they would pair off with various men, including Prince Philip. I was talking to someone the other day who was very friendly with an artist called Felix Topolsky. Topolsky, would lend his studio at Hungerford Bridge to Philip to entertain ladies. Now, how far it went, I don't know. I mean, she said the sofa there had seen a lot of lovemaking on it. So, presumably that was Philip as well. So I think these stories are coming out. And I mean, but the marriage, interesting one. I think the Queen, I think, accepted it. I was talking again to a friend of mine who has a country house in Yorkshire, and he had entertained Prince Philip and Penny Mountbatten one weekend. And then the following weekend, the Queen had come and she'd asked how Philip's friend was. She called her. And I think that the feeling I get was she wasn't entirely happy with it, but she accepted it, and that was the price to pay. He'd been very loyal, very supportive. I think he's a very impressive man. And she just got used to the fact that this was something that, happened. I think as happens in a lot of marriages, a lot of women accept a situation which they may not be entirely happy with. It doesn't take away from, I think, Philip's great achievements and the fact that in the end, I think it was a happy marriage. And